If you're looking for the best place to find up-to-date market information and trading strategy, then you have found Riz International and you are in the right place. I want to thank you for joining us. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you click the subscribe button, click the thumbs up and the little bell icon to make sure you get notified every time we upload new content here on the channel. This is our weekly market recap, and we're going to start here by taking a look at the S&P 500 and quite the bullish week in the market. We started with a nice strong push towards the upside, holding this 45.50 level on the S&P 500, and we just used that as basically a springboard and bounced from there. Huge moves on Tuesday and a really strong finish on Friday, pushing into the weekend and really starting to make that move back towards that all-time high. And I think this is the tricky part of trading right now is every time we have a pullback, it just gets bought back up. So we'll have to see if this 47.43 level holds as the all-time high, if that holds as resistance, or if we can push through it this week, or if we just kind of trade sideways. Of course, there's always downside potential. The market feels a little bloated right now, if you ask me, and it's why we've been very selective in our trades. But if you're an elite member, then you got access to the dip buy list over the weekend, and man, if you got in on that, you should be in good shape right now with this movement on Monday and Tuesday, and of course Friday as well. So really strong push in the market. It seems to be a lot of upward momentum at the moment. We'll see how long that can last, but definitely it is very tricky right now in the market, and it's why we're being so tactical with our trades. We don't just spam trades here on Riz Elite. For all of our elite members who get the alerts, that we only take the best setups. We don't try to spam trades just for the sake of saying that we are trading. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the breakdown for the S&P 500 and see what's going on. But basically, guys, everything is up this week. Moves upward in energy, real estate, tech, financial, healthcare, and utilities. Healthcare making a very nice move, and utilities as well. Basically everything is up, guys. It's all green all the time, apparently, at least for this week, and really strong moves here on all of the major indices that break up the S&P 500. Of course, there are more sectors here that are not represented, but these are the top 6 that we like to keep an eye on. The last thing we want to do is to jam up the chart so you can't actually see what's going on. Let's take a look here at oil, because oil has been the biggest mover, and you see we kind of had this huge dip down here, almost getting down to 61, and I know Riz was kind of looking at that level. We didn't end up taking a position in oil, but if you kind of YOLO'd it and went for it, you'll be sitting pretty good here. Obviously a really strong move in oil, really holding that 200 simple moving average right now, but finding a little bit of resistance here around 73. Looks like there is a little bit of an inflection point there, so definitely some resistance in that area, but oil definitely making a very nice strong move after this huge sell-off that we had. And gold is really doing nothing, for lack of a better term. Gold consolidating all week, staying below the 200 simple moving average and really not doing anything. Something that has been beat down lately is cryptocurrency. Bitcoin getting absolutely slaughtered here since the 10th of November, having a huge drawdown back to the 200 simple moving average. Beautiful bounce off of this, by the way, and really just kind of consolidating. Not much going on right now on Bitcoin. It's being kind of stable. I guess not many people trading Bitcoin on the weekend, at least not right now. But nice move here on Friday. Into Saturday, but we'll have to see what happens today. But yeah, crypto taking a bit of a beating right now, and I think most people know our stance on crypto here in Elite. Of course, we recommend caution, but it is definitely a vehicle that you can use if that's something you're into. We just don't have any open positions in crypto at this time. One stock that we did get into this week was Merck. So let me look here. Let me pull up our entry on this so I can do this correctly. Okay, so on the 9th, looks like we got in around 73.10, and just a little bit red on that one here. We bounced off the support level here around 72, which is well above our posted recommended stop loss, but just a little bit red here. This hasn't quite made the move back up that we were hoping for. Of course, there was some data that the pill was not as effective as they wanted it to be, or as they had originally stated. Of course, the news here was that Merck had this new, oral therapy, basically that reduced hospitalizations for COVID patients by approximately 50%. Now, new studies see that those numbers are not as good as the initial reports, and hence the drawdown here. Now, if you are holding this one, we do have an ex-dividend date coming out, 69 cents per share. Nice. But that will be available here. Looks like on the 14th. So come what, Tuesday? Yep, my mental math is correct. That should be Tuesday. So if you're holding through there, obviously a nice little extra little boost if you are in on that. Now let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of the other positions that we were in. ADSK, really, really lovely bounce here. I mean, this one could not have went much better if you ask me. Got in at 252.69. Riz scaled out on this huge push up, and yeah, you would have been done well if you had followed him out on that, because that was an excellent exit, as it looks like it wants to kind of come back down. Another one we're currently holding is Walmart. This is one that I'm holding personally. You already received your ex-dividend of 55 cents. Not as nice necessarily as the Merck 69 cents per share, but you know what? I'll take it. Really, really nice move here on Walmart going into the close on Friday, blasting past profit target 1 and making its way towards profit target 2 of 142. Really, really nice on that one. And then SPLK was one that we also took last week. This one, hold at your own risk. Got in this one at 116. If memory serves, I believe Riz went ahead and got out of this one. Let me look here real quick. Quick search here. Yeah, so Riz closed, it looks like on the 9th on this one, and you would have again done well had you have followed him out on that trade, because right now it is below our entry price. So hope you're following the alerts and things like that for all of our elite members. Of course, that's incredibly important, because we're giving you as good information as we can, and that was an absolutely perfect example of why it's usually a good time to listen to Riz. He does have his finger on the market. I got PM to question, and so I want to make sure that we open this up to everybody else. So if you're here live on the chat, go ahead and start typing your questions for me. But I believe it was Anthony, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check on that. Yep, Anthony reached out to me and asked me, let me pull up the exact question here. He says, can you analyze snow? I think if growth stocks regain their footing, this one can lead. Okay, so Snowflake here making a really nice bounce off the 90 moving average here, and kind of holding right now. Now, yeah, I have to agree that if we do get a move on some growth stocks, then this one could have a bit more upside momentum. It definitely looks like it's making a move towards the upside right now, but really having a hard time with this 375 area as a bit of resistance there. But definitely looks like we formed a base here around the 90 and pushed up from there very nicely. So this one, again, more high dollar stock. Let's look at earnings here. Looks like EPS and revenue were definitely in line. Looks like they actually had positive earnings, which is very nice. Can't beat that. So definitely a nice move for snow. Obviously, dad joke time. Going into the winter, obviously, there should be a higher demand in snow. So, definitely a good buy on this one. Just joking, if any of you caught that. But yeah, this one's looking not too bad. I definitely like this movement. It is a little choppy, so just be careful. Have a little bit more, risk management on this one, and by that, probably need to curtail your position size because it moves so much. I mean, you look at these bars, how hard they move. You're going to have a lot of fluctuation in your P&L on something like this, especially lately here around earnings. A lot of crazy moving here on snow, so be very, very careful. And you could definitely hold this if you want, but just be careful on it right now, because growth stocks are getting kind of hit with the supply chain issues and things like that. Looking to re-enter Dropbox. Let me see. DBX. Okay, I was close. Okay, looking to DBX here. So let's take a look at Dropbox. Looks like we got absolutely hammered post earnings, and looks like EPS and revenue were in line. I'd have to look and see what guidance looked like. I don't have that in front of me here, but if I had to guess with a drop like this, unless there was a news catalyst other than earnings, that's probably guidance was not as good, meaning they said, okay, we're going to be making money, but we're not going to be making as much as we thought we would make. So obviously we need to sell. Looks like it's forming a bit of a base down here in this area. I would be careful on re-entering here. Just let's see if we can't get a confirmed bounce. This is obviously a bit of a short-term downtrend here, so be really, really careful on this one. You can look more towards like 23.75 or something like that, but that's only 20 cents away, so it's not a huge move. I wouldn't go too super hard on this one because, I mean, it's absolutely been decimated. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to stop. So yeah, on this one, just be careful. I would say I want to see more of a defined bounce here. I want to see us push past this 25 before I'm looking to get in back in Dropbox if that was something that I was going to trade, because I could see more downside potential on this. So be really, really careful. All right, Yas says Disney. Let's take a look here. Nice bounce here off of, let's see, this area right here around 142. Let's take a look. Let's put that down there. Okay, so really, really nice bounce there off 142. Doesn't look like it's having, I mean, there's a couple hits, but nothing too serious to suggest that that's really, really hardcore support, but definitely a nice bounce off that area there, and looking to continue to push upwards, though. A little bit of hesitation here on Friday. Very nice, you know, V bounce, V recovery here. We'll have to see if it kind of comes back down, retests support, and pushes back up for the W pattern, or if it just continues to go. Earnings, looks like they missed on some earnings. Yeah, missed on earning and revenue. Only 18 odd billion. They missed by 200 million. My gosh, what a tragedy. Let me put the phone on silent here. Sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't look too bad. We're kind of in a big gap here. There's a lot of space in this area. Now, obviously, of course, I could put some more support and resistance levels there. It definitely looks like there's something going on in this area. We've had some hits here in the past. And, you know, there's more around here. But yeah, there's a lot of space here. If we continue to move towards the upside on Monday and the market continues to go up, then yes, I think Disney looks really good. If we see a rollover, I think maybe not. All right, Milton says, can you look at AMD? Let me read the full extent of his question. I missed the 135 price target from the dip price. I have a bullish outlook on the company, but of course would prefer an optimal entry. I mean, wouldn't we all prefer an optimal entry, Milton? I mean, we would all love to bottom tick and top tick these things, trust me. And I still think your entry looks pretty decent here if we can hold over this 135 area. I think that's really what it comes down to. So, I mean, you were only $3, $3.50 a share away. I'm pretty sure you're not going to be dumping like huge amounts of money on the company. But if you have a long-term outlook on AMD, which I think is probably a wise decision, I think you can definitely do pretty well with this. If you want to wait and see if it comes back here closer to 135, you definitely could. If we start to curl up from here, you may want to go ahead and enter early, but maybe go in with a little less size to give yourself some space in case we do retrace back down towards one of these moving averages, or maybe even this support level here around 122. It has been on a huge tear right now. And we are kind of pulling back. If 135 holds, I think you should be all right. But if not, if it breaks through there, rather, you know, I think our next spot is going to be 122, and that would obviously be a more ideal entry. So I would be a little safe on this one. See what happens on Monday. If we continue to push up and AMD decides to go, you could take a starter position, keep some space in case you need to average down. Always a good plan. How do you view MKC in terms of technicals? Well, let's see. McCormick. Everybody needs their spices. Well, this one's on quite the tear. Let's look at the dividends here. 37 cents, not too spectacular. I mean, obviously the move has happened. For me, if you're buying up here, this is a bit of a chase. I'll tell you, Yas, it is not an ideal entry. That being said, momentum can continue. We are kind of getting really close to overbought territory, especially with this move on Friday. So I'd be really careful with this one. It's in a beautiful uptrend right now, but buying now is a risk. It is very tricky to jump in here. If you do, I would consider much lower size than you usually take, because you have to understand you are chasing. And so if you're cool with that, then absolutely go for it. Go with reduced size. Give yourself space to average down if you want. Yeah, looking to be a bit overbought here. I personally would kind of wait for a bit of a pullback before I jumped in on this one. SPCE, Virgin Galactic, good entry. No, it is not. This is a piece of garbage. I don't recommend you get in this at all. And I'm not kidding. This looks terrible. I mean, look at this downtrend. I would not get in here. I just don't think that they have what it takes to make a move back towards up in the 50 area. And I know everybody wants to see that, but yeah, Costin, I would not take it here, honestly. I don't like this pattern at all. This looks absolutely terrible. Huge downtrend. Until I see more signs of life out of this thing, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. What are my thoughts on Micron for an entry? Of course, not a problem. This is another chase, no different than McCormick or, AMD. We've had multiple hits off this 87 area and we can't bust through it. We have earnings coming up, so that's a huge catalyst coming up on the 20th. Good question what those will be and how it'll push it. But obviously with the the chip shortage right now, it's questionable whether it will be good or not. I feel like the move on Micron has already happened, and if you take it now, again, straight chase. Is what's going on here. This is a hardcore chase with this one. It has been kind of hanging around in this area between, 82 and 85, 86, and it just can't bust out of it. And if we don't have that momentum going in, I'm concerned that earnings are going to be less than optimal and we're going to get a dip or a huge gap down on Micron. Now, of course, what will happen, obviously, is the opposite. And Micron's going to go to the moon because you've asked me about it. But I'm really this inability to push through here and just kind of this choppiness up and down and up and down. Looks like we're getting a little bit channelized almost. We'll kind of have to wait and see whether that channel holds here with the bottom being around 81. But until I see upward momentum through 87.25, I'm not liking it the best. Yeah, your shorter moving averages are definitely moving up, but the 200 is completely flat. Overall, what it's telling us is in the last, year or so, it's remained relatively unchanged. And I know you're all like, well, what are you talking about, Chris? It obviously has moved quite a bit. Well, yeah, but look where it was at the start of the year and where it is now. It was like 77 something, and, what are we at now? 85. So, but overall, the movement from the year to date basically has been fairly flat on it, and I think the entry was kind of more in this area here, and that's actually where I got in. Pretty happy. I got out, by the way, on like one of these dips here, and was very happy with that trade. But yeah, it's a little dicey, honestly. This is a really tricky one because it's basically just in open space. Right, we're in this open space between, resistance overhead around 87.25 and the 200. And the question is, which direction are they going to go? Me personally, I see this selling off some. I really feel like this inability to bust through here without some catalyst, which of course earnings can be, without some catalyst, I don't think it's going to make that move up here. I think we're going to see some selling into earnings, and then we'll have to kind of see what happens after that. If you really like the company, again, I do personally. I've been following this one for quite some time, hence all the lines. But I definitely like it. And if you want to take a starter position, you can. Maybe like half size at most. I would honestly lean towards like 1/3 at this point because it is, admittedly, you have to look at it and be like, okay, this could go either direction at this point. It is kind of a chase, but it's just been bouncing around here. I don't see any directionality in it at this point. It's like we're up and we're down, and we're up and we're down, and we're up and we're down. So there is no directionality. There's no momentum. The momentum was here, and if you capitalize on that, great. If not, don't try and force it. I just feel like taking MU right now is a bit of a force. That's my opinion. But yeah, I agree. I definitely like the 50 and the 90 curling up. Obviously, the 50 pushing over the 90 is always a good thing. But the shorter term moving averages are still below the 200 at this point, which is a little concerning, but definitely seeing some upward movement in the moving averages. But again, that's because of this movement here that we have. Let me just circle that for you. It's because of this that we're getting that curl up in the moving averages right now, but now we're just stalling. So with a current lack of directionality in this trade, I would kind of steer clear of it. Thank you for the question, though. It's a really good one. And all these questions tonight are good. And it's really tricky, guys. I think that's the biggest thing right now is like when we're pushing back towards all-time highs, the big question on everybody's mind is it going to bust through, or is it going to hit there and is it going to fall back down? It wouldn't be the first time we've had it where, it goes back up to a previous all-time high, and that is, basically resistance at that point, and it can't break through it. It all depends on, a lot of things going on. And obviously there's a lot of news catalysts right now with things going on in Taiwan, in Ukraine, in, all different parts of the world. They're talking about taking the transitory word off of inflation at this point, which I think is accurate and a good thing to do because it was never transitory, if you ask me. But there's a lot of news catalysts going on right now, and it is very tricky to trade in this environment. Okay, got another question here from Miguel. Looking to enter Uber around 33. Well, let's take a look at it. Whoops. I always forget to do that. Get it back on my pointer here so I can drag. Okay, so Uber looks like it got absolutely wrecked post-earnings here. And, yeah, okay, so missed EPS pretty bad. Like, really, really bad. Almost $1 per share off. So you want to enter around 33. Well, let's see where 33 is at. There it is. Just kind of looking here to see what's going on in this area. So it looks like we got something here. At right around 40 looks pretty strong. We got some maybe there around 38. Otherwise, we got not too much. You could say, oh, it's bouncing off of this point right here. Maybe. Yeah, I think on this one, this is not the entry right now. Your 33 entry, I think, is fair if that area holds. But again, we're on a pretty strong downtrend here for the whole year on Uber. And yeah, for me personally, I don't really care for that. But if this is a pattern that you trade, or you believe in the stock or something along those lines, you have high conviction in the trade, then yeah, I mean, it definitely can work. But this is a pretty massive downtrend that we have not been able to get out of since the beginning of the year, basically. So right here in February, ever since then, it's basically been on the slide. And earnings were obviously not very impressive. It's getting punished for that. The question is, where does it hold? Does it hold here around 36, where it did before, or does it go down to 33? Your stop loss, 28.7. Let's take a look at that. Okay, we'll just put it there. So, I mean, it's definitely fair. I think you're giving yourself plenty of room. I just worry you're not going to have enough upside potential to make it work on that. It definitely could work for you if it gets back to 33. I mean, I would put an alert for it. If you're using TradingView, you can use this alert system here. Like, for example, let's say we want to consider getting in here around this. You can add alert for Uber, here at 34, 32. That's the price that you want. You don't want the moving averages. So just make sure you click that there, the alert. And then once it happens, you'll get your alerts here. It'll let you know when it's gotten to that price point, and you can take a look at it and see if you like the price action there. It's a little risky, I think, Miguel. It's not a terrible thesis, but it is a little risky. So I would say, yeah, keep it on watch list. See when it gets to that area where you want to enter, and see if it can hold. If it doesn't hold, then wait. If it does hold, then yeah, go for it. I don't hate it. Of course, not a problem. Yeah, great question, Yas. And I meant to mention this earlier. Thank you for bringing it up. Wanted to know if there's anything that Riz was watching this week for a potential entry. No, actually. I asked him this earlier this afternoon when he told me that he wasn't going to be able to make it tonight. He said he doesn't have anything that's really on watch at the moment. We all had access to, for all our elite members, of course, we all have access to the dip buy list. Use that kind of as your guide, especially if the market rolls over a bit. That'll be kind of your potential entry list on good, solid companies. But as far as specific tickers that Riz is keeping an eye on this week, no, really not. What are my thoughts on Visa? I've got a couple of them. Looks like Visa's made the move already. Yeah, it definitely has made its short-term move up already. And it looks like we're past dividend, 38 cents a share, nothing to write home about, but I would not say no to it. Definitely found support here around this 190 area, or even you could say down here around, yeah, right around 190. Perfect. And it definitely moved. It's running into the moving averages now. We'll have to see if it can bust through there or not. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely made the move already. I would be hesitant to jump in on this one. But again, Visa, very solid blue chip company, not going anywhere, and really looking good. Yeah, I know a lot of people are hurting on PayPal and things like that. I'm talking about MasterCard making a move. Yep, looks like MasterCard made a big push too. Let's look at PayPal. Yeah, PayPal just does not want to go up. Ever since they made that announcement about the potential acquisition of Pinterest, it's been absolutely decimated. Even though earnings were spectacular, well, okay, they weren't spectacular. They were good, though revenue was a little low. It's just been absolutely decimated. And yeah, I don't have much words for that. Square getting pretty much punished here as well. Really getting hammered. All payment systems are getting hammered for the most part, it seems like, as of late. And so yeah, it's pretty rough, excuse me. Thoughts on eBay at this level? We're below the 200 moving average. Be very, very careful. We've had multiple attempts on the 200 and it can't get through it. You're going to need some volume. And some push. Obviously, the ex-dividend didn't help it at all. 18 cents. Clearly, investors did not like the company paying out shareholders on that. What can you say? So they dumped their shares, and down we went below the 200. I want to see a move over the 200 before I get in on this one. I want to move and a hold. And by that, I mean a push over the 200 and a close on the day, Liam, before I would get in on this, because that 200 moving average is pretty strong. You can see multiple hits here, all these here, down here. So, I mean, it definitely acts as an area of support and resistance. This is pretty well known. And right now we're below it, so I want to see a strong push over it. And if it can hold over that 200, then yes, I like it. If not, keep an eye on it. And wait for it to happen. Again, you could use an alert to let you know when it gets to that area. Just be aware that once those alert triggers, they will be removed. You'll need to reset it if you don't like the price action once that alert triggers. I've had that happen to me before. I was trying to keep an eye on something and it didn't it went up there, it touched it, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't like the look of this. And then later it made the move, and I kind of missed the opportunity. But it happens. But yeah, payment providers getting hammered, though. Yeah, for easy, for sure. Hey, Liam, don't make it hard. That's really the simple thing. Don't make it difficult. Don't make it harder than it is. But yeah, push and hold over the 200. Yes, I like it. Until then, I would be very, very cautious. So. Well, awesome. Great questions tonight, everybody. Really appreciate everybody coming out on a Saturday night. Thank you again for all of our elite members who are, here and who stay with this. The webinars really are your chance to kind of get the inside look onto what we're doing and what we're thinking, what we see, and to interact with us more personally. And we like that, guys. We really appreciate each and every one of you, and really are glad that you're part of Riz Elite and this journey together as we continue to become more and more financially independent and harness the markets. So with that, guys, I want to wish all of you a happy weekend, and we will see you in Discord on Monday. Good night, everybody.